Oh my God, oh my God.
Make it illegal to be able to put them into the prison system.
Why the masks? I hate when people do that. Right now it's crazy times in the world and Hello. Hello, darling. Hi.
Hello.
How you doing? Let me show you something. We're out in the grounds today with the sun shining. Yes. 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 Yes, look at that. All like goody-goody. You know what? There is your water, guys. That's what you drink. That's what I'm gonna swim in so you can drink all this goodness. All this goodness.
That's terrible. But
Well, thank you. He says that's terrible.
I will still
Rude.
drink that water.
Oh my goodness, this thing is heavy. Do you want to hold it? Maybe better for you. My muscles ain't gonna make this.
Oh my God.
This is great. This is a lot better. So I'm your girl Villanera. I'm here with
Guest.
love that name.
Literally.
Love that name. It's so unique. So how you feeling, guest?
I'm good. I'm enjoying being outside.
Yeah, 100%.
Good
And
weather.
so wonderful to have you guys with us outside. You know, whenever I'm in the woods, I'm always looking at, you know, I feel always bad for stepping on ants.
Yeah, did you see the massive ant pile?
Yeah, I saw a few, to be honest.
That's crazy.
Because they love pine tree.
Yeah.
Because they love these, come. They love these
Pine needles.
Yeah, that's what they call it. But like people who me might not know that these are pine needles.
Nice.
So yeah, we're out in the woods. Error. So guest is going to show me a location.
Yeah.
Is gonna show me a spot or two.
So let's go
So
this
I'm
way.
excited to see. Are you not cold, guest?
No, I'm okay. I know I'm going to warm up eventually.
Okay. Well, good to hear. I think I want this to be your sign from the universe that it's time for you to take a walk in nature.
100%.
Oh, look at these logs.
I know, exactly. That's why I came this way.
Is it like steps?
I don't know. I think someone just placed it here.
You know what it is for?
Is it
Mountain
I
biking.
thought so. It looks like a jump.
Yeah, so this is how you would come as a bike. Dun 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 dun. Dum dum.
Wow. Well
Wow. So yeah, could you just give me a moment and turn around so I can tuck my t-shirt into my pants?
done. Fair enough. We keep everything concealed here. Yeah, I'm trying to just keep going. I have a good motivation. I feel like where I am in my life is an interesting position. I'm starting to enjoy it and appreciate where I am presently.
I love to hear
Yeah.
that. You know, I think that's like something that, you know how like in life you have this like roller coaster that that was my down. That was my down. I was in my up and I went down.
Crazy.
I saw a dead little mouse.
Oh,
It
really?
was tiny,
Oh, I see
very,
it.
very tiny.
Well, I'm not going to show the camera.
No, please don't. I hate when people do that. I hate it when people like film these kind of like things that you feel not mentally ready to
Yeah.
see. Oh, look how interesting this is.
Well,
So you can see like blueberries.
mm,
Why don't you like
Uh-oh, I
show
dropped
it?
it.
So you
I don't know
can
if it-
see blueberries and then can you see?
this is some guerrilla
Can you see?
filmmaking.
So like and then you have these red berries. Is that a part of the blue?
We live
But
about
is
to
that
rub houses.
is that But is that a part of the blueberries?
Maybe. I don't know. But maybe they're not edible like the blueberries.
100%. You know, I think we definitely look like two people trying to rob houses, which
But
there
then-
are any. Because obviously we're going to explain it to you every time why the masks and... oh, it's a mushroom.
Yeah.
Oh, you will see me throughout this whole thing going, oh, ah, ee.
Exactly.
But like, obviously the idea is to freely say what we want to say, right? And I think there's this kind of beauty in staying anonymous sometimes, and I think that's basically the desire to stay anonymous, to not protect yourself from the people. That's not what it's about, but it's about protecting yourself from the system,
Yeah, exactly.
right, that has been built, but also finding a way to work around the system that has been designed for us as people, as civilians.
Exactly.
You know, there's a lot of things you can't change in life, but you can try to change your surrounding, right? And I think that's basically what we're doing, and that's why you're here. And I know
Yeah, it's definitely meant to be a space
for a second I thought I
free
was
speech.
someone's dog, like he
What?
whistled,
Oh, you're about
and
to
I
run
was
over.
like, is it me? Is it dinner time? Coming. Da, 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 da,
That's
da,
so
da, da. But I'm sure it wasn't me who was talking about. I don't know. I think now I'm a bit like traumatized and like keep looking down if there are like
Oh, like
dead
if there's
mice again,
Yeah,
because I don't want to step on it again.
I don't think that should happen. Hopefully not. But obviously, it's nice to keep your eye out.
But you know, I
also.
was out the other time in the woods, and I like saw a few dead mice, like the same size, on like the pathway, and I was so surprised, and I'm still wondering like why, because it's still like the same size, you know, exact same, like they look like not like fully grown mice.
No,
And
like
I'm
babies.
wondering why. Is it like some poison around the area?
I think they just don't. I think they just don't make it. You know. I think.
But how don't make it?
Well, maybe they're not with their mothers, and so they kind of hunt for themselves.
But there's so many
Or they-
blueberries.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. But maybe it's not a topic to ponder on too much. Unfortunately, nature is just like that. Sometimes
Yeah.
just
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, the thing with nature. So I think there's a lot of things that you like look at as human, and you ask like, why is this like this? Why is this like that? Like, especially like when you talk about systems, design systems. But then, you know, this obsession that I have with watching like these nature documentaries.
yeah, which
And
are
then-
always super fascinating.
Yeah, very fascinating, but also at the same time, you like see the systems
Yeah, that they live in.
that
Their
they
communities.
have designed for themselves, like each like animal kingdom has for themselves, which is so interesting. Like that naked mouse.
Yeah, the naked mole rat.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was like in the desert.
Yeah.
It was in the desert. They were showing like desert animals. Probably seen it. National Geographic, I think it was, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then like, why are we walking so fast? Like, I don't enjoy walking fast. I like to enjoy.
Sorry, it's my long legs.
Yeah, but tell your long legs to slow down, yeah? So
I was just making sure we're going the right way.
this like naked mice was like living in the desert, and obviously they were naked because they never got exposed to sunlight or even like outside. They lived in the sand,
Yeah, they lived
like
underground
deep in the
these
sand.
tunnels.
But like their whole like system was crazy to me. Like it was like the most dictatorship of the dictators I've ever seen.
Yeah,
It was like crazy. So
queen.
basically the mother was the queen, And to remain staying as the queen, she had to always like prove a point to like with her power games,
Yeah.
to like show who's the boss. So basically she would be the one mating everyone whenever she wanted, only on her call.
Yeah, which are all family members.
Yeah, like all were her. Like she had how many kids in that place?
100
Like,
plus, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
100 plus babies, and all were hers.
Yeah.
And all were hers.
And then she would also
and she would basically
mutilate
sleep
the
with
other-
all the, I mean, basically rape was it.
Yeah, and
like-
mutilate the other
and-
potential
What does mutilate
queens.
mean?
When you basically destroy the reproductive parts.
Oh yeah, that's what she did.
Yeah.
I thought, in my head, I thought she ate them or killed them. But yeah, you're right. She would mutilate them.
Yeah, the other females.
Yeah, which is absolutely crazy to me. But like, also she knew that if she wouldn't have done that, somebody would dethrone her
Yeah, kill her.
and
Take
continue
over.
whatever she's doing.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter who did it. That's like the system that they had.
Yeah. And it makes you ask questions like if that's just normal for them, you know, and they don't think otherwise compared to for us.
And this is obviously not the only animal kingdom who is like this.
Yeah.
Everyone had, like the bears is also another
Yeah,
fucked
exactly.
up one.
I mean, the mums just basically live with the cubs alone.
Yeah,
And the males
and there is
roam
one
around.
guy impregnating
All of them.
all of them for like 10 years span until another boy gets old enough
To take over.
to take over, to fight him and win that fight. And once he wins that fight, then he's the next guy who would approximately take another 10 years.
Or even with lions, how they will take over a pride and they'll kill all the other male cubs.
Man, this is so beautiful. Can you show behind you from where you are? This is like, look at that bridge. I love bridges.
Yeah.
Bridges are just so beautiful, and it's like something really philosophical. Oi, oi. Yeah, you know, the one who's
Overslip.
laughing ends up crying. No, but I don't wish that upon you. But like,
Thank you.
there's something philosophical
Yeah.
about bridges, like, but it's just so beautiful to
cool.
see, like, you know,
Don't know if you can.
and walk on. I love these bridges that are in the middle of the forest that you can walk on.
Yeah. To be fair, every time I go to this
It
spot,
feels like a fairy tale. Watch me just like go down.
yeah, I've actually haven't taken this wave before.
This is beautiful,
but I know
beautiful,
where we are, so
beautiful.
That's good.
That's good that you know where we are.
Well, part of the journey is to get lost, right?
Yeah, but then, yeah, what I was getting at is that you watch all these systems, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you question, do you think all these dictators that are like in the world,
Yeah.
yeah, if they like looked at that and learned, or is it like programmed in us that some of us are just like savage like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, every culture is also different, and I think people figure out new ways of living based on their like immediate circumstances and their surroundings and their environment. And so it's hard to tell like what is nature and what is nurture, I guess.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. I need to double check that we are going in the right direction.
But I'm not saying this because I'm saying that it's right and it makes sense that we have dictators. It's not. I'm just saying, like, look how this is where we
Double check where we are.
realize that these people are so close-minded and behind like that,
I
that
think
they
we gotta go
live
this way, by
like
the way.
proper animals. I'm walking the wrong way. Oh, there's someone's house in the middle of nowhere. I would
Yeah.
be terrified. I would actually be terrified. Like, I'm one of those people who would like proper feel like haunted or like but good thing they have a neighbor, so that's nice. But
Well,
what
you
if
can
the
imagine.
neighbor is the murderer.
What are you talking about? Living here. There's a
Yeah,
whole,
like, you know, living in the middle of nowhere. There's something scary. I mean, I love living in the middle of nowhere if it's in the mountains or like by the beach or somewhere like open, but like in the forest, it just feels very like, you know, camouflage. There's a lot of people who can like get too close without you
realizing.
seeing them.
Yeah, definitely.
Or hearing them, because it could have been a deer, it could have been a... I'm like crooked. Yeah. It's like pretty exhausting to talk so much while walking so fast with a man with like with daddy long leg over there, like taking one step that is as big as like my 5 steps. Oops.
But you're doing well. You hitting it? Do you want me to hold it again?
No, it's okay. It was easier holding it like like a weapon.
Like a spear.
I'm literally holding it like a weapon.
Charging with
Yeah,
it.
like like that.
So it's good. Yeah, this part gets a bit more dense, so I guess it's good to not to hit it. But you're doing a good job.
Look at these mushy mushrooms.
So you said you knew which were like edible, which ones to avoid. You kind of did that as a kid, right? Like mushroom picking.
Yeah, like with school and stuff like that, absolutely. But like, obviously, like how many things have you learned in school which you don't remember? Too many.
Oh, these berries are so big.
There are so many blueberries and they're massive. They are massive, like look at that. Do you see that? No, that's upside down.
Really gorilla filming.
Yeah, but hey, it is what it is. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's one.
I'm sorry to our viewers who may get sick from all the being flipped upside down and shaking and...
Wait. I'm like, there they are. There they are. It might be upside down, but you get the point.
Yeah.
A circle looks the same from any side.
Huh?
You know, because it's upside down, it still looks like a circle.
Oh yeah, from any side. I thought you said from the inside.
No. But there's so many blueberries. I should have brought a bag.
I know. We've been picking
like
some and making them into jam.
Time we went blueberry picking. I went to like we were taking, and then like I came to my thing. It keeps getting crooked, and I'm seeing like one eye like a pirate. You know, like wait, let me bring this up a little.
Nicely done, both of these masks.
So these are all handmade, hand bordered. You know, we put love in what we do. So yeah, we were like picking, and then like as I go in and I see a mouse, and it wasn't like a small one like that one. It was like big, like almost like a rat. And I freaked out. You know, I love animals from far, but you know, when they get close, it gets a bit freaky.
Well, yeah, I guess my philosophy is love nature, but you don't have to touch it or interact with it.
100%. Oh my God, you stepped on a blueberry, so your shoe's like blue.
That's so funny. But yeah, like I think like I love animals, but even with people's dogs.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, you don't even know if the owner likes you messing with the dog, you know.
That as well, but also like hygiene, right?
Yeah,
and I'm not saying only hygiene for you who are petting the dog, but also like if I had a dog, I wouldn't like people coming with their dirty hands and pat my dog. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, I just washed him. And it was really difficult to get him in the wash in the first place. So why are you touching him?
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think like there was a lot of things we could have learned from Corona.
Yeah, it's a shame that we don't have like hand sanitizer everywhere we go anymore.
Yeah, it's so interesting how they like literally removed it.
Yeah. Because like obviously there's some places when you don't need it. Like you don't need to go into every retail shop with hand sanitizer, but like in restaurants and fast food places.
Yeah, I think that's like that should be a given. And also like on public transportation, I feel.
But yeah, that was nice too.
Because like you're holding the poles and stuff like that, and it's nice to like know that everyone sanitized before holding it.
Yeah.
I hold
True.
it like this.
But I'm
Like
also.
you do with 2 feet.
Oh yeah, nice.
So these fingers are really strong now.
What, to hold on to the.
Because they've been like my whole life. Like.
That's so funny. Yeah, but I also am a believer in.
Do you want me to go first so that you can be in the camera?
That's okay, but you know, I guess you just follow the path.
You can just tell me as well, right, left.
That's true.
I know those.
Are you sure?
No, not always.
Sometimes you get a bit confused.
Always. Like, I used to work in hospitality for the longest time. And whenever guests would ask me, which way is the restrooms? I would say, right, no, left, no, right. And it'd be so funny when they would be in a hurry, you know.
Yeah, like,
I would see them walking like.
Where do we go? Exactly.
So where do I go?
Left, I believe. No.
I'm kidding. It's crazy how the pine can sometimes feel
No, I
like
think this is correct.
plastic. Don't you think? Oh my god, oh my god.
We're by electricity poles, which aren't the best things to walk
Yeah,
under.
traumatized, absolutely traumatized. We were walking by these thingies, and then this guy goes to one of these things, and as I walk through it, I get an electrical shock.
Yeah, I mean, it's made of wood. I was fine.
But the thing is, I believe that you gain superpowers.
What do you mean? From what?
With these electrical shocks, like, you know, you get stronger every time.
Oh, yeah.
Your body's immune system increases every time you get an electrical shock.
Yeah, it could be the case. I mean, it's definitely will do something to you, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I
mean,
believe
we are
it
made
did
of
do
electricity.
something to me.
Our brain is just electricity pulsing. Oh, look at these little mushrooms.
Let's look at these little mushrooms. Where are these little
They
mushrooms?
look like silver.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Don't touch it, yeah.
No, I know.
Do you think someone sprayed it? No, the other ones.
No, I
look
think
the
they're just
same.
the way they are.
That's
Cool,
so
though.
interesting. Wow. How nice is it? No, but it's so important to walk in nature. Like, it really grounds you. And it makes you realize what's important and what really matters in life, you know, when you look at all these patterns and you see how perfect it is with all its like imperfections. And when I say imperfections, I'm talking about like leaves are dry or whatever, but it's still like so perfect.
So inspiring.
So inspiring. Really like art at its peak.
Yeah.
You know?
I always feel really connected to also like my ancestors, like even if it's not mine,
Yeah.
like humans from the past, because
100%.
you know, some of these natural like rocks and trees and stuff have been here for generations.
Yeah.
You know, and humans have come through here and walked the same steps, seen the same things.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that's why preservation is really
like
important.
lived, you know, below these trees.
Yeah, maybe hunted here.
You know, protected themselves from the cold.
Yeah, it's the same with like the moon. I love the fact that throughout all of human existence, we have all looked up at that moon and just been at awe with it and wondered like, wow, like what is that? There must be something greater. Like, so magical in that sense as well. It really connects us all. And I love no matter where you are in the world, you can be looking at it. And you and someone you love can be looking at it at the same time. And you're looking at the same thing, even if you're in different places in the world.
Oh, look, more poisonous mushrooms.
Right,
But like, oh yeah, it makes sense because mushroom season is around September.
Oh, I can film you this
So
way.
and now it's end of August, so it makes complete sense
Yeah.
why there's so many mushrooms. So
Trying to
yeah,
figure-
this is the time to go
Let's
and
go.
pick mushrooms.
It's going to be the easiest way to go up
guys.
and down. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, don't
This is
worry.
mushroom season.
I'm
I
talking
thought though,
to
like
myself.
around also like October, November time?
No. So September is really peak time.
Ah.
That's when the markets are full of mushrooms.
Interesting, that's super cool.
And you ask me what kind of mushrooms, and I answer with all of the mushrooms, all the goody ones.
All the goody ones.
Now, speaking of mushrooms, let's talk about mushrooms.
Yes, exactly.
It's important. Something like I've realized lately is like not everything is for everyone.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Does that make sense?
100%. I mean, I think it's a personal journey, just like spirituality.
Yeah.
You can, you should feel ready to do an experience like that.
But I've definitely seen it go wrong many times, where people like were completely not mentally ready for something.
Definitely, I think people don't
Like
take
that?
it seriously sometimes as well.
Exactly, and then it goes entirely wrong, and then they kind of like bring negative stigma around the medicine,
Definitely.
when I think that's completely unfair, because it has nothing to do with the medicine. It has more to
Yeah.
do with how that medicine is reacting with your current state.
Yeah, and also
Of
sometimes
mind.
I think on the other end of things, I've seen people take it too seriously, expecting too much from it, and forgetting
not
to have
living
fun
up.
with it.
Yeah.
And it goes a bit too, yeah, it becomes too intense.
And it doesn't live up. Yeah, I think
it
it's
doesn't live
never
up to
good to go into
expectations.
something ever with high expectations. Even like when you're going for a night out, when you have like super high expectations,
Yeah,
it's really difficult for that night to live up to that. So
definitely.
it's always good to go into things with like acceptance of spontaneity.
Definitely.
I think that was the first time
Yeah, keep going straight.
ever I didn't have troubles pronouncing that word. Spontaneity
Yeah,
is a magical thing about human life, allowing things to roll as they want to roll, and just like going with it and making the best out of it.
also, unfortunately, I don't think the camera will hear it, but we should try the echo when you're here because it's so interesting.
Oh.
It's so cool.
I thought, what? Are you going to say something naughty?
No. I think we already are.
The pattern I've seen is like it gone wrong with the people who try to control not only life around them, but also I would
Keep going straight.
appreciate if you can go first.
Yeah, that's no problem. Probably be easier for me to film as well
Oh, I
since it's
feel
being
way
thick.
more comfortable. Yeah,
We're
and
almost there,
controlling
by the way.
not only like their mind, but also like things around them.
Careful, branch.
And it was, yeah, I love he said branch when it got into my
Oh,
face.
that wasn't the branch I was talking about.
Those people I've seen struggling the most are in these medicine rituals because they've had a difficult time to just like lean back into it.
Yeah, because even I've told a friend to not try and remember everything that's going on in the moment as well, and just also live presently and just enjoy it, and don't worry if you forget, that experience, because
Yeah.
even that can just can hold you back from really just like getting the full potential out of it.
100% being
And-
in the moment.
Yeah, and it's a hard lesson as well, because sometimes it's hard to just be present and just let things go.
Absolutely.
It's not like letting go of
Easier
control.
said than done. But it's absolutely worth it. And I'm not talking about only when doing stuff like that, but like with life in general. And of course, it's always a working journey, but it's definitely worth working on that and keep improving every day. And also remembering that being spiritual doesn't mean that when you're spiritual it's done. No, you have to continue putting the work in Can we just like take a moment
Yeah,
and
this
like,
is it, by the way. I was just
this
going to
is
take us to the rock.
gorgeous. Why are you running? Let me feel this. Let me
This is the
soak this
viewpoint.
in
But I was going to
into
sit here
my
because there's a rock
bones.
over here.
Yes.
Well, I'm
Hello.
going to keep taking you guys.
I see you too. But yeah, you know, it's always a forever journey. You know, like
Here we go.
sometimes you can fall back into your old habits, old mindset, and it's important to keep yourself grounded and not feed your ego too much, but don't try to kill your ego either. But just try to nurture it. Nurture yourself, nurture your state of mind, your soul, and just encourage yourself to keep learning no matter what age, what state in life. But always learn. You know, my personal mission in life is to love and learn. And that I'll never be finished. I'll never be finished, and that's the beautiful part of that. Never be done learning that. Hi, lovely seeing you again.
I saw the wild boars down here.
How wonderful is this? Like, Mama Nature is coming through.
Should we try the echo? Hey!
Oh, didn't know we could do that. Hey! Hi! How you doing?
And not staying hydrated, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're
Yeah,
saying if
it's,
you live in a tropical place.
Yeah, or if not, I would like try as much as I can to drink coconut water.
Oh my god, yeah. It's so good
It's
for
the
you.
best thing. I saw this guy on Instagram. To be honest, like nowadays you can't even know what is real and what's not real
Yeah.
on
Do you
Instagram.
mind if I pull this up higher so I don't have to bend over? That feels better, at least for me.
Oh, there he goes. Yeah, but I want to like be able to sit down and be able to have eye contact. My mom told me it's rude to have your back against your guests.
Of course.
Oh, hi. Oh, now this is something in it. Like nowadays it's so difficult to like tell what's real and what's not real.
Yeah.
So but I know that coconut water is really healthy, but it was like a man who was like 80 or something, and he was saying like he didn't drink water for like 20 years or maybe even more or less, but like for like a very extensive long time. And because he just drinks coconut water and watermelons and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, there's like probably the best form of water in there.
And I believe he was from the Caribbean.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which makes complete sense because the coconut water is so good.
Yeah. I know from a friend who did, who's a doctor, who did a trip abroad, basically going around on boats to all these small islands to basically give medical help to, you know, to people who don't have like hospitals nearby. And he said in a pinch, if they need to give a blood transfusion for someone to have a long enough time to make it to the hospital, they would do it with coconut water.
What would they do with like, coconut water?
To give a blood transfusion. So if you're losing a lot of blood,
they would put coconut water in their blood.
Yeah, because something about it is able to actually hold in your veins and hold the blood and the oxygen or whatever, and can be a temporary solution.
Yeah,
to keep you alive,
like in Persian culture, and we call it I don't know what it's called in like in English, but we call it serum. It's like basically the drip. You know the drip that they put in your water?
Oh yeah.
The drip. Like the sacks, and then it goes like drip. Sorry for demonstrating that. I know some people, including myself, have phobia. But anyways, so we call that drip serum, and we call it serum namak namako shekar, which is salt and sugar. Because it works so well. Salt and sugar, whenever you feel sick, so like even like just having water with salt and sugar in it,
Yeah.
it's like it makes like complete
Interesting.
magic, like complete magic. Like I've had so many people like around me who felt like fainting,
Mm,
passing out, giving them some water with salt and sugar balanced.
wow, that's so
So
interesting.
maybe that's also some components that
Yeah.
are in coconut
Yeah,
water.
exactly. Because I even had heat stroke once and
Yeah,
was given coconut water because it has such good electrolytes
yeah. It's
to
so good. It's
keep you
so good
going.
and it's so yummy. Some people don't like it though, but I find it so, so yummy. And you know, I like it. And I've only had this in Jamaica, but you know, like that. And
Oh
then
my God, yeah.
that is so
So good.
good.
So good.
So good.
I remember once as a kid in a fun fair winning a coconut. You know, if you threw a ball to hit the coconut off the stick,
Ah.
you get to keep the coconut.
Oh.
And I took it home and I tried so hard to crack it open.
Oh.
It was I had to get a hammer
But
and
which
try and smack
coconut
it.
was it? Was it the hairy
The hairy
one?
brown
Oh,
one.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I feel like that
So
one has less
difficult.
water though.
Yeah, it was actually more like milky. I ended up just
Yeah,
scooping out
yeah,
the like inside and
yeah.
then blending it.
But it's still delicious. But
So
it's
good.
the yellow green ones that have
They're
like
so good.
lots of
Yeah.
water.
And
Even like marijuana, as much as we have like more acceptance of its beauty and education, I feel like there's still a lot of people who are like living in the dark when it comes to that
yeah.
topic.
Yeah, because it's interesting because when you really look into why it's illegal, you realize a lot of it is to control populations based on racial motivations.
What
Like,
do you mean? Please specify.
so in America, which was like kind of the first place to really forefront cannabis being illegal,
Yeah.
there are like documents and statements from the people who made it illegal that the reason why they want to make it illegal is that predominantly Mexican, well, Latin American, and uh, black communities were smoking it, and that was a way to target them to be able to make it illegal to be able to put them into the prison system, which then was profitable because the prison
Oh my
systems are all
God.
privatized, and so they can get cheap labor under when they're in a prison.
Oh my
And so
God.
it became, and then they spread all this propaganda, paid off doctors to say that it was bad for you and all this type of stuff, put it as class A drug. And then now, because all of that kind of racial thinking has kind of died,
Mm.
you know, obviously it still exists,
Well, yeah.
unfortunately, but like there's a lot more people who are like re-questioning what is like part of the system of lives that have been pushed by racial beliefs and what it should we actually believe in.
Yeah, now it's all
And
image.
yeah, and now they really looked into it again. They realized there's so many health benefits. It's not dangerous. Like I know for a fact.
But I feel like it's more like private people who have like looked into it
Definitely, but then it
and
started to
like
grow
they
into
couldn't say no because it's a proven fact.
yeah, exactly.
Science,
And
basically.
and before that, it was used like for hemp, for example, really well. Like that's the other thing. Like hemp industry was taking over a lot, and that was a problem for cotton farms, for example. And so there's a lot of
But
racial
hemp is so
motivation.
much more sustainable.
Exactly.
So much more
But it
sustainable.
was yeah, and so there's a lot of racial things attached to it, and the rest of the world kind of just followed America's suit on it.
Yeah.
Because you know they trusted America to be telling like the truth.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I know like I would rather deal with a group of stoners than a group of drunks.
100%. Oh my God.
Like
I feel safe.
yeah, like they're
Like,
not gonna do anything. They're just gonna ask if you have some food, maybe. Like,
yeah.
where like a
Oh my
drunk person would
God.
try and fight you, break things. Stoners may trip and drop like your
Yeah,
phone or
drunk
something.
people are
But
dangerous. They're proper dangerous because you know why they're dangerous? Because they're unpredictable.
yeah,
You never know. Like an emotion comes up, like some anger or that they're trying to make some like funny movements that just like ends up being like hurtful to someone.
yeah, definitely.
But like stoned people just don't have the energy to be like
Yeah.
doing all
Or
of
they're just
that.
overthinking and they're
Oh
just
my God.
anxious themselves.
Oh my God. Like
or,
the overthinking is so funny.
or trying
Like,
to,
shit, did I just say something to hurt them?
yeah, exactly. Trying to make connections and stuff.
Absolutely. And just being polite.
Or just trying to avoid people altogether. Like, oh shit, there's people over there. I don't want to go to them.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people like in today's world, despite all the scientific stuff that has been said, kind of like, first of all, like closing their ears, not listening to it.
Yeah.
But like also like kind of obviously there's a lot of people who smoke who basically all they do is smoke.
Yeah, and they would lose
And
productivity.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think they take that again and make it the medicine's fault
No,
when
yeah,
it's
exactly.
just the user who's just abusing.
Exactly. It's the same with
Because
alcoholism.
I understand it's
Alcoholism.
easy to get lazy and procrastinating, but like when working with weed and like trying to be creative at least and stuff like that, there are some really cool stuff that and like even writing is like such a nice, because that overthinkingness makes you like become such a great writer. Obviously if you're into writing, painting, like playing badminton.
Yeah, like sometimes it
He
helps
was
like
saying
focus
that
in.
people get more better at sports.
Well, I don't know. I think there's like a joke amongst friends because like we're talking about how why is it illegal in the Olympics? Like surely you're not gonna get better at sports. It can't be like helping you in the Olympics if you're stoned running a race. But then like I've heard stories about people like going to the gym high and they can feel every single muscle, but it doesn't hurt necessarily. It's just, but then they can really hit the right muscles or like really focus in on like the ball when playing like tennis or badminton or something like that, and so maybe it actually can help. I think it just helps like maybe focus your mind or something.
Like I have friends, obviously do not recommend this at all. I'm not trying to get in trouble, but I have friends who say they drive better when they're high.
Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously do not recommend that at all.
It's too much of a risk
too much of a risk
to try, but I
but
understand.
It was interesting, and I think it goes back to that whole like focusing part.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like anything, doing it too much is going to be bad for you.
Absolutely.
And people can always take it too far and take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
But I just think it doesn't deserve the status of like illegality that it does in a lot of places.
Or just like looking at it like dirty.
Yeah, exactly. And I do understand it is like a gateway drug, like people who smoke weed are more likely to then go on to do like harder things. But I also think it's because it got associated with those things.
Yeah.
It's because people got told this is bad for you or ruin your life.
Could be
then they smoked weed and realized, well, this has sorry for swearing, no problem with my, like, it seems like there's nothing wrong with this. Well, surely then they're lying to me about cocaine and heroin and all this stuff. And so then they re-question everything because they got told it was bad.
Point, yeah.
But I actually think like, yeah, obviously it's a bad thing, but I think if you group it into the same thing and you say, these are all bad, and then one of them isn't necessarily as bad.
Absolutely.
Then you just think you're lied to for all of it.
Yeah, it's like when you're holding your kids control too much. The kids who had the most strict parents were the kids who did the most naughty things.
100%, yeah.
And the kids who had the most, the parents who let them be like free the most were the kids who like,
yeah, who
felt like, okay, I have nothing to like prove.
Yeah,
exactly.
no, it's true.
But obviously it also depends on life and circumstances, but
exactly.
I'm just talking in generality.
No, of course. I mean, there are some parents who really don't give a shit, and that can have problems too.
Of course, because then you're trying to gain their attention.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's about care and respect, and about also just having an honest conversation and talking to someone like an equal. Absolutely. And talking to your child like they're an
or
equal.
like with trust, you know,
exactly.
that I trust that you know how to make the right decisions.
Definitely.
And then that gives you kind of like, oh, you know, now I need to step up to this role of like really be that person who takes the right decisions.
Yeah.
Because I'm trusted with this role.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I know. Even with my mum,
Yeah.
the way she raised me, she almost like gave me so much trust to be like a good boy.
Yeah.
That in a way, I knew if I broke that trust, like I may never get it back. And so I really tried to uphold that trust that she had on me. So I would always still try and come back at like a good time, you know, or like not way too drunk, you know, for example, if you're going out partying, or even just to be honest with what I was doing, you know, because I feel like that helps still keep trust. Like even if you did something you know that they wouldn't approve on, if you're honest with them about it, there's at least that trust of like, okay, like I know you that sometimes you do bad things I don't approve of, but I trust you to at least come to me and confess it or learn from it and stuff like that. And I think when you lead with trust, a lot of people don't want to lose that trust, so
absolutely.
they try to uphold it as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's also like a lot of times I feel like people don't trust society, and that's why they don't trust their kids as well.
Yeah. Also, it's like in relationships, a lot of people like, I trust you, but I don't trust like that guy who's going to try and hit on you, for example. Or vice versa. Oh yeah, I don't trust your friend, because they're in for alternate reasons. I get that too, but then and that can break relationships because people are thinking like, oh, well, why don't you trust me? Like I can also make my own decisions.
Absolutely.
And all that type of stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting one when it comes to trust.
Yeah.
They do say trust nobody, right?
Yeah. I guess like, you know, it's more like be always like aware, you know, rather than trust nobody. Because I feel like a lot of the issues with society is also the fact that we don't trust each other, and it just creates a negative domino effect. Because out of not trusting each other, there's a lot of things that stay undone.
It's true.
For example, standing against the system.
It's true.
Because you're like, okay, I will be the only one standing and nobody's gonna back me. So I think we need to find a way to trust each other, but also earning each other's trust.
Yeah.
But also, of course, always making sure that we are not putting ourselves in a situation that, you know, we're gonna regret.
100%. Because even with like, I feel like back in the day, like our grandparents, they grew up in a society that like people trusted the community, so that their young kids could go out and play and know that like the shopkeeper will look after them if anything happens, or the neighbors would be keeping an eye on them, and trust that no one would take advantage of them because they're children. And unfortunately, we started to lose that trust. And I still believe that there were people back then who were trying to abuse that trust, and there were still bad people, and that's why we are where we are today. But I think we've been fed a narrative too much of like, don't trust each other. That
but you know,
now kids are super isolated from a community. The communities don't really grow as much anymore. Obviously they still exist, but I think it's harder.
But it's also like, you know, the smallest example is like we were playing a card game, and as soon as, you know, one person starts cheating in that card game, then the mindset and the perception of every player changes. So it becomes an eat or be eaten kind of game.
Definitely.
So, you know, when one factor does wrong, then the perception of a perspective of everyone changes. And you know, I think that's also what has happened in the world as well. Of course, you know, when there is a big population, it doesn't only require one person, but a few people probably did something that then, you know, that trust was broken as a collective.
Yeah, and I think we're just more aware of broken trust.
But it's really interesting, you know, and I found it so fascinating when I saw that in a card game. I was like, oh shit, I get it now. I get it now.
No, it's true.
But we also, like, you know, doesn't mean that, you know, you can't start trying to earn your trust in
Yeah,
people's hearts
exactly.
again. And I think that could also do a positive domino effect.
Hmm.
But definitely important to protect yourself, especially like in, you know, workplaces and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's super important to like you know, make sure that you're not doing something that someone can use against you.
Yeah, being taken advantage of.
Being ethical and
Hmm.
acting
Yeah,
according to your morals and values.
exactly. Um, I think there's a misconception of trust. People who are too trusting are weak, and I think sometimes actually some of the most like respected and intelligent and people who can protect themselves have the ability to trust people because they know that like there's nothing bad that that person can do to them
Yeah,
because of either internally or externally the systems that they have built to be able to
absolutely.
protect themselves.
Yeah, I can totally relate with that. Like
Hmm.
I full-heartedly like trust people, and a lot of the times, you know, people call me naive.
Mm.
Or even like if you say and you say, oh my god, you know, these pants are blue but you just can't see it. If you
Yeah.
are very, you know, confident in your tone when you tell me that, at one point I will believe you. I'll be like, okay,
Mm.
maybe, you know, something is off like that.
Yeah.
But I also know in the back of my head that you know, I stand by everything I said, everything I do.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you're gonna try to bring me down in any ways, then you know,
Exactly.
try. But like karma, darling, karma, darling.
No, it's true.
Do not forget and do not underestimate.
Yeah. And I think also you can trust someone until they show you otherwise in a way that can be a valuable lesson to know, okay, well, I just can't trust you for certain things. You know, like not to throw any shade on anyone, but like there are some people that I know like are great people and I can trust them for some things, but there's other things I know I just can't trust them with.
And I'm just like really loving looking at all these plants, and
And
you know, there's so many, nature is so abundant. It's so abundant, and I absolutely love our planet. I love our planet so much. Like, y'all can go to Mars, I'm staying.
yeah,
I love this planet so much.
it's so
Mama
cool.
Earth, she's so pretty. I think it's important to also, like we said, create a positive domino effect every day in your life, you know. Like ripples of goodness. It's important, you know, right now it's crazy times in the world, and it's important for us to really like, you know, take it upon ourselves to really, because we can change the world. One person can change the world. I mean, could, very possible, but like it's, if all of us can just like trying to fix whatever we can in our surroundings, if everyone does that, then what a magical place. I mean, it's already so magical, but like, you know, so magical to be human if we did that.
Yeah,
So I hope whatever, wherever we are, whatever we do, we take that with us in life every day, for ourselves as well, to be the best person we can for ourselves, for our neighbors, for nature. Yeah.
yeah,
Love yourself, darling. We love you.
100%.
Thank you for being with us till here. Okay, darling.
Starfish.
Kisses. Love you.